welcome to this new video for my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro Herrera, and today I'm going to be talking about the story of a historical figure called Désirée Clary. She was a silk merchant's daughter from Marseille, whom Napoleon said she was his first love, and who ended up becoming the Queen of Sweden. So I shall be reviewing a book and a film based on her story. The historical fiction novel was written by Annemarie Selinko and published in 1951, and its movie adaptation stars Marlon Brando as Napoleon, Simmons as Désirée, Marlon as Empress Josephine, and Michael Rainier as Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte. But yeah, before I begin, as to spoilers, I just want to say that this is based on historical events, so it's not like I'll be giving anything away that's not known out there. So unless you don't know anything about Désirée and want to keep it that way, beware. Désirée's story begins in 1794 when she's around 14 years old. She is the youngest daughter of a well-to-do silk merchant of Marseille, and when we first meet her, she's a delightful, carefree youngster. Events lead her to meet up with Joseph Bonaparte, Napoleon's older brother, and they start a friendship, and she invites Joseph over to her house to meet her elder sister Julie, little guessing how this will change not only her life and that of her family, but that of the history of France and of the nation and the world. When we first meet Napoleon, he is a general of 24 trying to keep his mother and several siblings from starving, and as Joseph and Julie get to know each other and get engaged, sparks fly between Napoleon and Désirée as well. They too become engaged, but then Napoleon leaves for Paris. After a year or so, Désirée follows him there only to discover that he is now engaged to the famous Josephine, apparently mainly because of her influential connections, which are quickly helping him to make a name of himself. Désirée is heartbroken, but then she meets Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte. He quickly falls for her, and in a few years after Napoleon quickly becomes the most powerful man in France, Jean and Désirée marry. And so we learn a lot about the last years of the French Revolution, of Napoleon's rise to fame as the Emperor, and eventually his defeat. What is unique though is that Désirée and her husband, who share this steadfast marriage, end up being offered the crown of Sweden by the Swedish people, and when Jean-Baptiste accepts, Désirée becomes a queen. Through it all, we see Désirée and Napoleon meeting over and over again through the years, and we see how they evolve from the early days when they were in love to an emperor and a queen. So I give both the book and the movie a 4 out of 5 stars review and recommend them to anyone who would like to know about a fascinating woman who actually lived and can be admired for many reasons. But I'll first begin by reviewing the novel. I like the fact that it was written from Désirée's point of view, because it was amazing to read history through the eyes of this woman I could relate to in many ways, and I could look up to as well. And I like the fact that even though this novel is written as journal entries, a literary genre I'm not particularly fond of, in the end it read more like historical fiction. Also, as a journalist, I am in awe of the author's level of research, because she included a lot of historical events at a time when there was no internet. Still, since I'm not that familiarized with what happened to France after Marie Antoinette was murdered, I just don't know exactly how historically accurate the book is, but I hope it's a close enough portrayal of Désirée's life at least. I mean, it has a lot of beautiful passages that I hope really did take place. But yeah, the book made me laugh and it made me cry, but the best thing about it was that I could admire the protagonist. I wasn't annoyed by her. I mean, the only thing that I can think of that I didn't enjoy as much would be that at some points it seemed more like just stating historical facts rather than telling a story. But I'm not sure if this was because of the author's writing style or because I devoured this really big book in just 3 days, quarantine, and it may just have been too much for me to take in such a short spell of time. As to the film, it's a great period drama. I really enjoyed it, with beautiful costumes and settings, and I loved how they used several lines from the book in the film. Brandon's Napoleon was fascinating to watch as a movie lover, and Michael Rainier plays a very handsome and dashing Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte. Marlon's Josephine isn't given that much of a prominent role, but she looks lovely on screen, and as Jane Simmons, I love her. I've always loved her. She was so pretty and a good actress, but I particularly liked the fact that at the early start of the movie, and whenever there wasn't a close-up to her face, she reminded me of my favorite actress, Vivien Leigh, as she plays Scarlett O'Hara in my favorite movie, Gone with the Wind. But yeah, I think it would be really cool if they made a new adaptation of Désirée's story, whether it's a movie or a series. I mean, I would definitely watch it and review it. Okay, so I love history and stories of queens and kings and the French Revolution, but I've never heard of Désirée because I just don't like to get that much into Napoleon's story, because my heart belongs to Marie Antoinette, and well, they were kind of in opposite sides. And then, even though I'm a royalist, I tend to stick to the history of the British royal family or the last Tsars of Russia, so I didn't know anything really about the Swedish royal family. Although I must say that Prince Carl Philip is very handsome and adore him. And I just love the way he looks so in love with his wife on their wedding day. Oh yeah, and his parents had a great love story, I think. But yeah, moving on. One reason why I think it's odd that I never heard of Désirée before is that I love Hollywood classics. So I can't believe that I didn't know that there was a movie out there with Marlon Brando playing Napoleon, Gene Simmons, his first love, and Merle Oberon playing Josephine. But yeah, I finally learned who Désirée was thanks to my good internet friend, author Lily Nachti. She recommended the book to me, and we have very similar tastes, so I thought I should check it out. Thank you, Lily, for recommending me this book. I owe you again for letting me know about a fascinating story, and I want to dedicate this video to you as a way of thanking you. So I have to say about Désirée Clary, thank you so much for watching my review of the book and the movie based on her life. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you did or if you didn't, as well as what are your own thoughts on this historical figure, the historical events covered in her story, the book, the movie, the author, anything that's relevant. Also, in the description box below, you can find a link to the book's Goodreads page and a link to the movie's IMDb page. And well, I'm Caro Herrera, the Mental Traveler, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you're in the world. I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye!